So in this video, I'm going to break down the snatch. It's the most technical lift of the Olympic lifts. That's why we're going to start with the snatch. If you can pick this up and do a snatch, then the clean is going to be a lot easier. So yeah, I'm going to break down the snatch completely into really small parts. It's how I teach the snatch to clients, members, etc. And athletes as well. And I'll also give you tips on what to look for if you are learning this in your own time. But obviously this is not something you should just follow. I highly recommend getting a coach and getting eyes on, because obviously a coach can get eyes on, see you in person, how you're moving, and make changes. So I highly recommend you get a coach if you want to learn the Olympic lifts. But if not, then hopefully this video helps you. But before we get started, make sure you hit that like button and also hit that subscribe button, because more of these videos will be coming out in the future. I'll be looking at doing a clean one and also a jerk one as well to go on top of this video. So let's get into it. And the first thing we need to learn is the stance. So obviously with the stance, you want to be in that jumping stance. So pretty much feet underneath your hips. So imagine you're going to jump as high as you can. That's the stance I want to be. So if you just basically stand where you are, get into a stance which allows you to jump as high as you can, and then just perform that for 3 reps. Perfect, so that is your starting stance. Obviously we're going to start with feet underneath our hips, and obviously as we progress through the lift, your feet's going to move out more into a squat stance, but we'll cover that further into the video. So next, we're going to look at our grip, the best place or optimal place to grab the bar for the snatch. So you either want a PVC pipe or a training bar. If your gym has them, a training bar is normally about 7 kilograms. So have a training bar, but for this and learning the snatch, highly recommend a PVC pipe or a broom handle. Definitely start with that. Get the movement technique perfect and spot on before even going to a barbell. With the grip, you want the barbell to be in your hip crease. So if you place the barbell in that hip crease, so if you bend over, it should stay there. So from there, if you bend over, it should just stay there. So once you've got that in the hip position, just slide your hands out so they're nice and straight. So obviously if you go into that hip crease, it should just stay there. And again, slide your hands out. And perfect, so that is the starting position. So we got our stance and our grip sorted. The biggest one is the squat. Obviously the overhead squat is again a very tactical movement, and your shoulder mobility comes into it massively. So if you can't overhead squat, then maybe you need to work on that and your shoulder mobility first before even looking at going into a snatch movement, especially a squat snatch. You could possibly start learning snatch high pull, muscle snatch. Again, just focusing on that technique until your shoulder mobility improves and you can overhead squat. Then you can start looking at power snatches and overhead squats. But first of all, we need to get that overhead squat sorted. So yeah, overhead squat, we're going to use our same grip. So remember, barbell in that hip crease, slide your arms out. From there, you're just going to place that barbell on the top of your head. So in that position, and from there, you're basically going to press up, keep your arms nice and straight, elbows locked out, and keep pushing that barbell up and pulling apart. And then from there, in that squat stance, you may have to go a little bit wider compared to a back squat or front squat, just to allow room for those hips to move into. But basically from there, keeping that barbell over the center of your head, you're basically going to send those hips down into that squat, back up. So that's the overhead squat. Like I said, that is the biggest portion of that. If you can't get into that position or you struggle, then you want to really focus on that movement first before moving on to the next movements. Perfect, so from there now we're just going to look at a high hang snatch pull. So pretty much we're going to bring the first two movements into it, so our stance and then our grip. Keeping that barbell in that hip, I basically want you to jump and then pull. So once you've jumped, you're then going to pull that barbell up. So you're going to pull those elbows up and back, keeping that barbell nice and close. So I don't want to see that bar come out. I want to see that barbell touch the thing, your body. So as you jump, I want you to try and lift your t-shirt up with the pipe. So from there, in that snatch position, stay nice and upright, and it's basically a small dip, and then you're going to jump and pull. So from there, perfect, so that is a high hang snatch pull, and that's pretty much the bar path we want the barbell to travel in. So we never want that barbell to come away from the body, we always want to keep it nice and close. And to do that, like I said, you want to pull those elbows up and back. So you don't want to pull them up, you want to pull them up and back, and that'll keep that barbell traveling in a straight line. So from that, now we've got that high pull, we're now going to look at that turnover and press. So this is going to go into a muscle snatch. So we're going to do this without bending our legs this time. So again, in that hip, you're basically just going to pull up and press. Perfect, so you can see those elbows come up, and then it's a quick turnover and a press, keeping that barbell over the center of my head the whole time. Once you've done that for a number of reps, say 10 reps, and really got that feel for the movement, we're now just going to go back, add that jump. So where we've done that jump and pull, we're now going to do the same thing, this time overhead. So we're basically going to just jump and then punch. And that is a high hang muscle snatch. From there now, we're now going to look at moving down to the high hang. So that is just above the knee. So we're going to look at getting down to that position first of all, and where you should feel it. So again, find that position in that hip, and then from there, when you're standing upright, I basically want you to bend your knees, push your bum back and shoulders forward. Soft knees, bum back, chest forward. From there, as you set up, you want to go into that soft knee position. From there, keep those shoulders pulled back and that barbell in close. So when you're set up, I don't want to see those shoulders roll forward. Pull them shoulder blades back, nice big chest. And then from there, keep that barbell close, because when you get some weight on the bar, as you bend over, I don't want that barbell to swing out. So always keep those lats activated and that barbell close. And then when you're in that position, a hang position, so just above the knee, you should be feeling it in your hamstrings. So when you're in that soft knee position, I basically want you to push that bum back and really feel it in your hamstrings. So from there, just keep going back, and then you should be feeling it in those hamstrings, and then just stand back up. Again, just keep doing that. 10 plus reps if you have to, and just get a real feeling in those hamstrings and find that position, because the more muscle memory you have in that position, it'll naturally come to you as you start adding weight onto that movement. And then from there, we're just going to add that jump and pull into it again. So this time, same thing as we did with the high hang, so in the hip. This time we're going to go from above the knee. So from there, down to the knee, and then you're basically going to jump and pull. So from there, jump, pull. So yeah, don't rush these movements. Again, remember you're learning the movement and you want to get these movements patterns correct first of all. So as you start adding weight, they don't break down. Once you've done that 3 to 5 reps and you feel comfortable, again, we're then just going to add that turnover into that movement. So again, back into that hang, and this time we're not going to jump. We're basically just going to extend at the hips. So when you extend, make sure you squeeze that ass of yours. Back into that hang. And that is a hang muscle snatch. So now we're going to look at a hang power snatch, exactly the same movement. This time you're now going to jump off the floor, catch it with soft knees. We're going to start looking at moving our feet. So again, like I said, we're going to start in that jumping stance. So you're going to jump, and then when you land, try and land in that squat stance. So it shouldn't be too much of a distance. Your feet should only move out about 1 to 2 inches, not too much. Again, like I said, it depends on that overhead stance. You may have to go a little bit wider. And then once you've caught that weight overhead, and you're done, remember to reset your feet before the next rep. If you feel comfortable with that and you feel comfortable with the overhead squat, if you want to, you can start catching lower and lower in the squat, or once you've done a power snatch and you've caught it, you can then just ride the bar down into that squat, again just feeling comfortable. And then to build confidence in the bottom of that squat or the barbell overhead, in the bottom of the squat or however low you can go, just pause for like 3 to 5 seconds before standing up. So again, just get a feel for being in that bottom of that squat with a barbell overhead and just build confidence. So we've gone from the hip down to the knee. So with that, you would have probably seen my back angle stay the same, and pretty much I was just going up and down. So from above the knee, you're then just basically lowering the bar down. So you're basically going to sit down. So once you've got that tension in the hamstrings, I basically want you to stay, that back angle stay exactly where it is, and you're basically just going to sit down until the barbell comes below that knee. Once you've done that, we can then look at adding that pull back into it. And again, we're going to go back into that cycle, building up to the full movement. So this time we're going to go from below the knee, you're going to come above the knee, make sure you got tension in those hamstrings, and then we're going to look at that pull. So we're going to go no jump to start with, and then we'll add that jump. Once you've done that, we're then going to add a muscle snatch. So yeah, once you feel comfortable with that low hang snatch, so taking it from below the knee, overhead, then you can start again, like I said, with a high hang. You can then start catching it a little bit lower, or catching it and then sitting down into that squat. We're getting closer to that floor, and then once we get to that floor, it's pretty much the full movement from there. We got that barbell below the knee, so once we're below that knee, you're basically just going to keep sitting down more, again keeping that back angle the same, sitting lower until that barbell touches the floor. So yeah, as you can see, my back angle stays the same. I get a tension into the hamstrings, above the knee, drop below the knee, and then keep dropping until the barbell's about mid-shin, because once you have plates on the end of the barbell, the bar will be about mid-shin level. So that's why we just go to mid-shin or just below the knee, kind of. That's where the barbell sits once we got weights on that bar. Once we're at shin level, we're then just going to look at basically standing up with the barbell. So again, like I said, you're going to keep that back angle the same. Once you've gone from below the knee down to mid-shin, it's exactly the same movement standing back up. So you can go from mid-shin, keeping that back angle the same. You're basically going to raise until the barbell comes above the knee. Once you're above the knee, you're basically just going to stand up. And then once you feel comfortable with that pull, that barbell staying close, you're feeling in the hamstrings, ticking all them boxes, and you feel happy, then we can look at that muscle snatch. So this is a full muscle snatch now. So taking the barbell from the floor overhead. So a muscle snatch, like I've done the last two progressions, basically your legs stay still, so no jump, and your basically legs stay straight after you've hit full extension with the hip. Start looking at powers. So again, exactly the same movement. It's just going to be a little bit quicker now. And then the next stage from that then is basically taking it down into a squat snatch, or just a little bit lower of a power snatch. So once you feel comfortable with the muscle snatch, and then you feel comfortable with the power snatch, then like I said, with the previous progressions, you can then just start looking at catching it a little bit lower, or riding it down into a basically overhead squat. So if you catch it in that power position, you can then just basically, as you catch it, ride it down. But that will just come in time as you build confidence. Make sure you do these progressions. So even though you've done the progressions with the PVC pipe, do exactly the same progressions with a barbell before you even look at adding weight. And again, make sure, if you can, get to a Olympic weightlifting club or a CrossFit gym to get a coach, get eyes on. I do offer coaching and programming, so if that's something you want, then go check it in the description box. I got Olympic weightlifting programs, pure strength programs, so the Olympic lifts, the back squats, the deadlifts, and the bench press, the big 6 lifts, I call it. I think it's called the Big 6 program. If you want to build strength, or you want to start a CrossFit program, then links are in the description box. If this video helped you, please put in the comments box that it's helped you and how. Also, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you can see more of these videos that are coming soon, especially next with the clean progressions, how to clean, and also the jerk, how to clean and jerk. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.